Flosstube. It's Arlene here. It is Saturday, March 27th, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome back if you have been here before. I know there are so many Flosstube channels for you to choose from, so I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me for a little bit. I'm expecting this to be a short video. As always, you already know how long it is, but as I'm filming it, I don't. It's not that I have that much to talk about, but there was a reason I wanted to make sure I did a video this weekend. So I put it on the to-do list. Lots of things going on in life. Who doesn't have lots of things going on? But then there's little things that you want to kind of stop and acknowledge. So tomorrow, March 28th, is my 4-year Flosstubiversary. 4 years ago, I did my first floss tube. I don't know if any of you who are watching now saw that first one, or when along my 4 years now that you have been a part or have come to visit. But thank you. It's so interesting to think about. I've been a stitcher all my life, and in my adult, since I was in high school, basically, and in my adult life, post college and the time that comes after that, I'd always stitched, and certainly in the last, decade or two, whatever, as the internet came about bigger and bigger and social media came up and up. Of course, I was aware that there'd be ways to meet stitchers online, but I'll be honest, I hadn't really pursued any of them until 2017, how I stumbled on this idea called Flosstube, which then led me to finding certain Facebook groups where I would see they were just more active and had some of the things that I was interested in. But it was because of Flosstube I really got myself involved in this online stitching community, and that felt so good. That I, while at that time I didn't really have stitchers near me, I didn't have a local stitching group that I was a part of. That has changed. One of the many things that has changed because I've been here on Flosstube. So from the beginning, it was community. It was about meeting people. It was the back and forth that happens in comments. And then it became a little more than that. Within a few months after I had started Flosstube, the whole idea of designing came about. I've often designed my own things for a number of years, but it was that whole be brave and give something new a chance that I felt like the community here would be behind me. And that's where my designing business, Works by ABC, came about and was born, and was so supported in those first few months, that first period of time. What also came from being a part of Flosstube community is the whole idea of stitching retreats. Now, we are all missing them greatly. 2020 was basically a wash with whatever retreats I know I was supposed to be a part of. And we're hoping good things for 2021. But 2018, or it was the fall of 2017, when I was watching via, Instagram posts and Facebook posts and everything about the Flosstube retreat that was happening in Austin that October or so. And while I couldn't be there, I mean, I didn't even know about it early enough to even try to get myself on any list or anything. I was so jealous of being in person with folks. And from there, that's the idea. Well, if I can't go there, maybe I could bring them to me. And that's where my New Jersey Flosstube retreat was born and happened in May of 2018. From the friendships, the connections that were made from that, from meeting people in person that I had only been knowing online, and then just getting to know other folks was, again, part of my being a part of this Flosstube community. They had my next retreat in August of 2019, and even in that year's time, just thinking about how much my stitching life had grown. My Works by ABC design business had grown. My connection with stitchers had grown. And it was wonderful to come together again. Yeah, we were supposed to happen in 2020, in the summer, August of 2020, which, as we all know, didn't happen. I do have dates set for the New Jersey Flosstube retreat this coming July, end of July. It's up in the air whether or not it's going to happen. Um, from the very practical, logistical point of view, whether it is going to be legal in the state of New Jersey to have a gathering of that size in a room of the size that we're in, like that's out of my control. But we're all hoping positive thoughts. I If you are interested, you could send me an email to be put on a wait list. If you can, njflosstuberetreat at gmail.com. I think I'll put it down below. And again, things are a little bit up in the air. I had made the statement that I will be deciding by May 1st. While that's, it's the kind of thing about a hotel contract. You can't just wait till 2 weeks ahead of time and say, yeah, we're not going to do it, because there's money involved. Anyway, we're going to be hopeful for that. So retreats was something that came from being a part of this community, and just simply the friendships. I now have a local stitching group. Before pandemic, we were meeting once a month at Needleworkers Delight, which is my LNS. Pandemic starts, and frankly, one of the good things, because we need to find the good things. One of the good things that has happened for me is how we moved on Zoom, and we've been a regular stitching group basically twice a week. Not everyone can make it every single time, but for almost a year now. It was probably sometime in March when we did our first one, or April. It has made the world of difference to me, to my daily life, to my weekly life, to know that I will have those times when I'm stitching with friends. So thank you for being here now, but if you've been here for 4 years, thank you. And whatever floss tubes you watch, whatever history might, whether it's, floss tube number 1 from someone who filmed it this week, to floss tube number whatever, that might be someone who's, one of the originals. Thank you for being a part of this community, because I know for me, it has greatly enriched my life. So last time I was here, I talked to you about the Needlework Expo, and I shared with you my new releases. So just like a little wrap up from that, the Expo occurred on March 5th, 6th, and 7th, single digits, 6, 7, 8. It was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it went really well. It was, I'll be honest, it was a great way for me to do my first wholesale opportunity. While I was scheduled to go to Nashville this year, it would have been my first Nashville experience. Not having to worry about all the detail, like the logistics of travel and the logistics of bringing all this patterns and stuff with me, and the cost that's involved in all of that. While sure, it would have been great to meet people in person, this was like a gentler way to get started in this aspect of the world. I've been distributed by Hoffman for 3 years, for a while now. And so I've got like that element of wholesale understanding, but to meet people, to meet store owners in person. So as I had mentioned last time, I went, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but simply put, this wasn't just a online store owner login and click, 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 order, 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 and be done. There was an element of video chat. And so you enter a booth and you see the things that you like, and as a store owner, and you want to purchase. And many designers had a way to, like, I had a Google form, had a way to order without having to do the video chat thing. But it was so nice to get to meet folks, and to know that everyone was doing it in the comfort of their own home and doing it on their own time frame, so that of course, does everyone miss some in person? Absolutely. Do we miss that about all aspects of our life? Sure. But the way that the world has needed to be creative in this last year, this was the stitching world creativity. And from everything I've heard, it certainly was a success. The store owners liked it. The designers liked it. There is a plan for it to happen again, literally last weekend of August. If you think about a lot of designers, I don't work on a schedule. I don't know what kind of schedule to work on, but I know I have observed a lot of designers put out new things on September 1st. you get your fall, you get your Halloween, you start that season, so to speak. And so I think the idea of scheduling it for that last weekend of October is basically to time it right around when would have been a normal release time. And so I certainly plan on participating in it and been starting to work on the designs that will come out. So just a quick review. If so, I had 5 new designs. They will be in my Etsy store in about a week. While there's no hard and fast rule about it, I think a lot of people, a lot of designers follow the idea that give store owners a chance, support businesses. And so about a month's time, to wait about a month before making patterns for sale in other ways. So um, maybe next weekend, I need to look at a calendar and make sure I'm doing this right. But somewhere about next weekend, you can see my new designs in my Etsy store. I offer paper patterns and PDF, so you could, whichever works better for you. So just very quickly, just to review, this is the one that I'm not expecting a lot of people to purchase now, but maybe for the future. So tonight, Saturday, March 27th, is the first night of Passover. And at Passover, you have a Seder, you have various things on the table, and one of them is a dish of matzah. And I knew I grew up a whole life just with a napkin covering the matzah, but there are such things as making a matzah cover. And so one of my designs was a matzah cover. I suppose there might have been some people that purchased this pattern through, from me selling to stores. Store owners would have it, might have purchased it, and literally might have it stitched up for this Passover. It's a quick stitch, but you can also keep it in mind for next year. I also had, as one of my patterns, lake, and I love the effect of. You could see it's a repeated motif, but just by careful placement of colors, you get a neat scene coming from it. And I'm working on another one from this series. This idea of motif, repeat, put the colors right, and you get something cool out of it. I had rosebud lace. This is a good learning piece for me in that I had a number of folks ask me about the fabric. And you may or may not remember, this was fabric that I dyed myself. It was my first time ever dyeing fabric. Now the challenge with that is that when some customers love your piece, the store owners contact you and say, we want to know what fabric so we can get it for our customers that want it exactly as it is. And I'm like, well, you can't quite get that fabric because I dyed it. I didn't even follow a formula. I dumped a little of this and a little of that. So as neat as it was to produce a color that I really liked, I'm going to have to keep it in mind for the future that anything that I'm designing and creating a model for something I might be stitching, I need to be really careful whether or not I'm going to do this kind of thing again. We'll see. So rosebud lace, which was actually my second best seller. Hold on. This is Evolution. I'll be honest here, we're friends. This is the source of my first significant mistake in designing, although in the grand scheme of things was fixable. I had a stitcher contact me two nights ago saying, I got my pattern, I was all set to start tonight, I have all this information, but I don't have the key of what the symbols represent. And at first I thought, how could she miss that? But then I went to check my file and I discovered I don't know how it happened, I don't know when in the process it happened, but somehow in the merging of my final file for this to be printed, the page that was the key wasn't there. And I don't know how I didn't see that when I was stuffing patterns in baggies. Luckily, because it's not up on my Etsy store yet, it's not in Hoffman's hands yet. Literally the only people that have this pattern is the very store owners and only the ones that ordered this pattern. So that was easy enough for me to create a list of people, of store owners, email them my apologies, attach that page, put it out there on Instagram, contact me, here's the page of the key, you kind of need it. In the grand scheme, I know that most designers have like an oops on their websites or a place to go when they've discovered mistakes. And this is the kind of thing that it's not like a motif is out of whack. It's that if you want to stitch it like I did, you need to know what the symbols represent. And a huge thank you to that stitcher that reached out to me. If you are someone that's watching and bought this pattern, please observe. You don't have the key in there, please contact me. I'd be happy to get it to you. If you're a store owner, you should have gotten an email from me. Please contact me. Happy to get it to you. And the file has now been fixed. So for future printings, the key will be there. Okay, and then the last one, which turned out to be my best seller for the new Expo releases, was my Renaissance band sampler. Yes, it is small. If you get a sense of the size of my hand. This is on a 3.5-inch wide banding where I stitched it over 1 on 24 count. I did that for, I wasn't crazy about stitching that small, but magnifying is a great thing. It was just about the ease of only using one strand of thread, and I like stitching on linen versus Aida, which was my other option. Actually, it's sitting right here. This was the other banding that I bought to potentially stitch it on. But you don't have to stitch on this size. And the reason it's called Renaissance Band Sampler is because it's inspired from a page in a book that was from the Renaissance 15. I have to look in the pattern to see, but from like centuries ago. And many questions came of it. What we need the threads in stock. What kind of threads? And it's like, it only uses 2 threads. This truly is the power of the DMC variegated threads. Yeah. It is only 2 colors. You have that. Where's my finger? There we go. If you see the cross hatching there, you'll see like a light lavender purplish. But then all the darker color is DMC variegated, which actually happens to be sitting here. Probably from my last video, I haven't cleaned up. 4240. It's blues and purples. And I just think it produces such a great effect. So all those patterns are, so my new releases from Expo, which I shared last time, are in the hands of store owners that purchase them. They will be available on my Etsy store and then also from Hoffman in the next little bit of time. So again, the Expo experience was great. It was comforting to just be in my own little space, and when the time slot was done, it was done. It was great to be visiting with folks. It was great to see some friends who are fellow designers as well as friends who are store owners. To pop in and out of each other's booths was just great. Somebody had discovered early on, which was wonderful, that you could have 2 tabs open. You could have the tab on your computer that is your store, that's you, and then open another tab and be like a visitor to other stores. And if somebody came to your booth, all you had to do was switch tabs and you're now talking to them. So that little piece made it a really fun aspect. I mentioned that I've been stitching on some things that will eventually be, maybe they'll be August Needlework Expo releases, or maybe before then, we'll see. This is sort of an unfair sneak peek, but can you see? Just showing you just a little bit. I just wanted to share with you, I love this green color fabric. It is a silk weaver fabric called Deep Forest. It's either Forest or Deep Forest. If you didn't know, so Needleworkers Delight is my LNS. They are also silk weaver. So I know I'm so lucky to have this ability to go and buy silk weaver fabrics from Silk Weaver. I don't need to order them. I know some people have some challenges with that. But anyway, did I just show too much? It shouldn't surprise you that there's some white involved, and you probably know what the inspiration is going to be for that. There is for that. And so, besides working on that, I was doing a little 2 projects at once, which is unusual for me. It was something that was just in the back of my mind. I wanted to do, and it's like, make the decision and do it. A few weeks back, got this book. I have not allowed myself to buy many books in a long time. But I had this one in the back of my mind. Trish Burr does beautiful needle painting books, and beautiful in that you can follow, you understand what to do. So this is her new book, and it's even that much more special than any of her books. You're looking at this, you're thinking that's interesting. So this is hardcover, but when you open it up, what you get is the paperback version of the book, and what's in this pocket are the stencils, the stencils to create the designs. So I don't think she's done this before. I mean, I know she has some book available for something, but basically, if you want to stitch, there we go. If you want to stitch this design, you need this. I mean, not so much with the numbers, but you need this outline on a piece of fabric. And in her other books, the instructions are, in various ways copy it. Hold it up to a light, tape it to a window, and then tape your fabric on top and just use a pencil or something. But what she did here just like made it awesome. So these are iron-on transfers, and you could use them more than once. I haven't tested that, but that's what it says. So to iron on the outline of what I did, and then to be stitching from there, following her instructions, I could only wish I got the color sense to be able to create things like this. I need someone to tell me how to do the colors, and then I'll keep working on my technique to see how well I can get it. So this is the only other time I'd done needle painting was a small little design from one of her. I think I'm trying to see on my shelf where it is. One of her books, which is over there. Oh no, I'm on the wrong side. It doesn't make a difference. On my shelf are a number of her books. And the one I did, it was actually through a class. And I remember them saying, all right, look at what you have in front of you. You have DMC floss. You have a piece of white fabric that came from Joann's, meaning you've got nothing fancy in front of you. If you screw it up, so what? Do it again. And while yes, you could get the most beautiful fabric to be working on this kind of stuff, and yes, you could get silk threads, you don't need to start there. You could start very basic. So I haven't actually done anything since that first project, but I was inspired. So here is the piece that I didn't even take it out of the hoop for this. I should have. That she calls Japanese. Oh, how do you? Anemone. Anemone. I can never pronounce that. So I think I still have more practice would make the transitions of colors even better. But I'm okay. It's like not too bad for my first time, well, second time doing something like this. And of course, when you do anything, you learn lots. From the first petal I did to the last petal I did, I can see it's a little bit better. I have in the back of my mind, I'd like to start another needle painting project. I don't know when. I was going to, and then I've gotten distracted by some other things, but I'll share with you. In going through the various Trish Burr books that I have, I was in this book, and I found 3 possibilities, which I'll just share. So one of them is a French rose. One of them is a camellia. Where am I? There we go. And then a crocus. If you have any thoughts in any of those 3, which one I should do next, go ahead, share in the comments. Just if you have any thoughts, I would be open to hearing how I should make my decision. Could I do more than one? Yeah, it's just a matter of what am I going to do next. So that, in addition to working on models of future Works by ABC designs, having something a little different. I've talked about this before, that because I'm a stitcher that likes all kinds of cross stitch, absolutely, that was my first love. That's the whole idea of needle and thread came through cross stitch for me. But it expanded since then. And so there's something very balancing to me to be working on a cross stitch project, then work on something else, like I was doing a hardanger a few months ago. Work on a cross stitch project and work on a needle painting or work on a black work. It's a good balance for me. So that's why it was helpful to have this needle painting. That's about it that I have for today. I do want to mention I got a new lamp, which is actually, it's not on right now because the way it's sitting right now, I've got my normal amp on, but I'll bend it down a little bit for you all to see. And there's a story behind this, and what I think I'm going to do is make it its own little video. So I will put that out soon, a few days from now. I need to film it, but when you have something new to play with, it gets interesting. I hope you guys find that as well. So, it is a beautiful day outside. I was out for a long walk this morning. It is 60, maybe close to 70 today. Look ahead to the forecast. By Thursday, it might be back down to the 40s. Not so fun, but I also saw daffodils in my walk today. And to me, daffodils really scream spring. I mean, in all honesty, they might have been there for a few days and I just hadn't noticed them, but there's a whole little area. I posted on my Instagram. Welcome spring when you see daffodils. So, whatever's going on in your world right now, I hope you are doing okay. I hope you're finding the little bright spots that we all need to get through. I was just going to say something else, and it went right out of my head. Thank you very much for being here. I so appreciate it. Everyone who does videos knows how important it is to have this community, this connection. And the comments and the likes are wonderful. It really keeps it important and alive. And now that I could say I'm celebrating 4 years of doing it, just how important it is. So thank you. Till next time.